Well, hello there, Junior Church. It's so good to be here today to be able to share with you this lesson. Today we're going to be learning about a special person in the Bible. Okay, now to be able to guess who that person is, I'm going to give you a few clues, and then you're going to be able to, hopefully, be able to tell me. Okay, now this particular person, they wrote lots and lots of songs in the Bible. Okay, those songs are called Psalms. Next clue, he used to be a shepherd boy. Okay, right. And the next clue, I think you might actually get it when I tell you this, is that he killed a giant. Can you guess it? I think you might have it, but just in case you don't, I'll give you one more clue. His name began with the letter D. Can you figure it out? Well done, guys. It is David. And David was an awesome guy. I like to think of David as a kind of superhero. Pretty much like the guys behind me. Can you see the photograph on the wall on the back? Yeah? I think he was pretty much like a superhero. And why I think that? Let's see. Well, David was he was a man after God's own heart. Now, why did the Bible say that? Well, because David longed so much to do God's work. He longed to do things that pleased God. Okay? And it didn't matter what it was that he did, even if it meant him putting his life at risk. Pretty much like the superheroes behind me. They put their lives at risk, all for doing the right thing. But in David's case, he wanted to do the right thing, not for himself, but for God. And I think that deserves a superhero status, don't you think? Well, he's an awesome person. Okay? And no matter what he did, he always gave God the thanks and the praise, which is what you and I should be doing. Okay? Listen now, let's carry on with the story. Let's hear what we've got to listen to. I think it's an awesome story. Okay. Now, David, God had promised David that he would be a king, right? And now at last, the leaders of Israel came to him and crowned him their king. Pretty much like this. This is an awesome, awesome crown, don't you think? Yeah, I think so. Lots of, I wish I was a king. Anyway, God had promised that David was going to be a king, okay? But David, David still had lots of enemies, Even though he was a king, he still had to do God's work. And that work meant defeating all his enemies, pretty much with a sword. Yeah, just like that. But all the time, David kept on loving God. He gave God the thanks and the praise for what a wonderful person that God was, because God stood by him in his battle while he was fighting the enemies. And he stood by him and he gave God the thanks and the praise all the time. And for that reason, God loved him. All right? He kept on loving him. And because David was a good ruler. Okay? But that only came because of his relationship with the Lord. Okay? Now then, David had to take a special box and bring it all the way to Jerusalem. Okay? So when David defeated his enemies, he took over the city of Jerusalem. So he had to bring this special box called the Ark of the Covenant, which represented God. Okay? So now, he had to bring it all the way to Jerusalem, which is quite a distance. Okay? But now then, because David was the king and he was famous, and he didn't want to take the attention away from the box, which is the Ark of the Covenant. Remember, they were moving the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, so he put on plain clothes. Okay, and he mingled into the crowd just to be like one of them. So just to show, he wanted the people to realize just how important this box was, okay? And just to show that God is so great and important, okay? I think that was an awesome thing for him to do, okay? Now then, whilst we were going down, taking this box, which was a long procession, right? David had some people that were there to play some instruments, okay, musical instruments like a harp and trumpets, yeah, and to dance in front of the procession, just to show, God just how wonderful He was, because it was a happy occasion. And as the procession moved along the streets, David did a special dance to praise God. Yeah? Can you do a special dance to praise God? Put your hands in the air. Okay? You can put your hands in the air and just wave them like you just don't care. Okay? Because God is great. Our God is an awesome God. Okay? Well done, guys. Well done. Okay. Another way that David gave thanks showed God how grateful he was. Okay? For all he had done for him. He gave everybody that was at the procession food. Okay? He gave them some bread and meat and raisins so they could also join in, and be happy for this special occasion. Okay? Now then, God, in all of this here, David showed God that he was good and kind. Okay? And for that reason, God stood by him in everything that he did. And David gave him the thanks and the praise all the while, in the good times and the hard times. And God didn't turn his back on him. And that should be the same with us, in the good times and the bad times. Give God the praise and glory that he deserves. Now then, I'd like to challenge you, okay, when you go home or whilst you're out there now this evening or today or whenever, just give God the thanks and the praise. Write down as many ways as you can think of to give God the thanks and the praise. For example, one way is praying. Okay? And you just write down, if you're having a hard time figuring it out, just ask your parents to help you. Okay? Thank you very much. And also, don't forget to go on the church website, log on and find out onto the JC links, and there's lots of fun activities there for you to do. Okay? God bless.